On Tucson Business Radio, you are currently listening to The Mark Bishop Show with today's guest, Luke Marklin from Bellhops. And now here's your host, Mark Bishop.
Well, I'm pleased to be talking to Luke Marklin, the Chief Executive Officer of Bellhops. This is America's fastest growing moving company, and they're dedicated to revolutionizing the traditionally low-quality moving industry through outstanding efficiency and customer care. So let's find out. Well, firstly, good morning, Luke. How are you doing?
Good morning, Mark. Doing great. Thanks for having me.
That's a hell of a pitch there, mate. What makes you so different?
It is a hell of a pitch, so believe it, we back it up. When we got the reviews to prove it. I think the two things that make us different are people and technology. The moving industry is not all that different today than it was in the 50s and 60s. It really hasn't had a lot of innovation and change. And we started our company over 5 years ago with an idea that we could bring a lot of that, a lot of new technology and a better business model to really shake up the industry, and that's what we've done. We bring people in your home that are a whole new class of movers in the industry, and we make the process run as efficiently as possible using tech that powers everything and also makes things a lot more affordable.
Well, you're known as a passionate leader, dedicated to utilizing technology to build great businesses, better customer experiences, high-performing teams. Would you go along with this?
You know my bio well. I think those are probably very nice phrases, but yeah, that's actually hopefully summarizing a lot of my career. And look, moving could be a really fun experience, right? Most people are typically upgrading their home or they're moving into their first home, and it should be a lot more fun than it is today.
Oh, it's nerve-wracking, mate. It puts gray hairs on you.
Get in the way of that, and so we're building a company to really flip it on its head and make moving a lot less stressful.
Well, I've done it extensively throughout my career, and not only throughout Australia, but in America and around the globe a little bit, so it can be very tedious and very hard. If you're relying on a top company, it seems to take a lot of the pressure away because you can put it to them. Well, you previously, Luke, you were general manager at Uber, overseeing the operational success of the Southeast markets. And before Uber, you held positions in strategic planning at Emerson Electric Company and in project management at Barton Marlow Company. And you received your MBA from Harvard Business School. So you know, idiot, you know what you're doing. A bachelor's in construction engineering management from Purdue Uni. So how does this challenge compare to that sort of background you've had?
A lot of the background has been very applicable. When I was at Uber, the taxi industry, most people know about that story, right? And the taxi industry is actually not that different than the moving industry.
Well, share a bit more. Tell us what you know inside.
Yeah, very, very franchised. And that really is a lot of the parallels in the moving industry. We had to shake up the old model. We had to change how people thought about customer service in the industry. We had to change how on demand and how available companies could be in the industry, and that's a lot of what we bring to the moving industry. It's very similar to what Uber brought to transportation.
So you took the best of the best. So you're an expert. You share tips on everything you need to know to prepare for a move. What about yourself? Have you moved much? Was there anything at all in your past that gave you an inkling at all? There's just got to be a better way.
Yeah, I believe in the last 10 years I've lived in, 7 different cities, 2 different countries, 9 different homes. In fact, when I was taking this job, my wife said, we've moved enough that I'm now qualified to run a moving company. so yeah, this is actually very near and dear to me. And I ironically, like when I was, company had been started and had some momentum, and I joined a couple years ago, and I had been a customer before. And so it really tipped the scales, and why I was excited about coming to work for Bellhops is I had benefited from a Bellhops move and seen what having outstanding people in your home can do, and having a process that just runs like clockwork can do. And it was the best moving experience I had to date, and I said I need to be a part of that.
Well, we're talking about moving 101, and that means relocating with ease. In fact, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, I didn't realize there was this much, but people in the U.S. relocate, on average, about a dozen times during the course of their lives. Now, do your stats sort of, confer with that, Luke?
Absolutely. We actually see people move a lot more frequently than you'd think. We actually see roughly 20% of our customers move again in 1 year's time. So urban mobility is a thing, and it's happening more and more frequently. Where we see people going is actually pretty interesting as well. People don't go too far. People are moving a lot more within cities. Over 60% of our customers actually move within the same county, many of whom are moving just down the block. So we're seeing a lot of people upgrading their home into a better place or moving into a new apartment. We see a lot of local moving activity happening.
Well, recent data is showing what cities are experiencing the greatest influx of people. And why so? Listeners, if you're one of the more than 35 million Americans who'll be moving to new digs this year, this is info from Luke that you just might want to hear. Recent data is showing that 35 million Americans, that's an enormous amount. What's your competition in this industry? Are there many?
There are tens of thousands of moving companies out there. And so you really need to do your homework when you pick your mover. And I would say 9,999 have a very similar model. We have a very different one. So that's how we differentiate in a very crowded field. But at the end of the day, what you should be concerned about is, one, do I trust the people who are going to come into my home? Two, do I trust their estimate and the price? And then three, if something goes wrong, are they going to take care of me, and they're going to provide the great level of customer service and treat me as if they were part of their family? And those are what we've built our business around, and I suggest everyone do their homework when they're wading through the 10,000 movers out there.
Yeah, I think probably we've all experienced that bad one. I know I have, to the tune of thousands of dollars. It's all very well when a rep comes in and gives you an estimate and moves around the house, and, you go by weight, I guess, or size. I'm not sure how you do it, but measure everything, and, it's only going to be that. Wow, that's terrific. We'll use you. And you find out when it gets there, half has been left because it really was a bad estimate,
Happens a lot. Yeah, the moving industry's reputation is not great, and there's everyone has an example of why.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you next, because trust is everything. I'm a great believer in that, and I like to deal with companies. Once you deal with somebody you've given your heart to and your trust to, you tend to go back to them, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, we actually see 20% of our customers come back in the first year. It's amazing to see the amount of customers. We've only been in business for 5 years, and we have customers who've used us 3-4 times. And it's because each time they know they're going to get a consistently good experience, and they're dealing with a good company.
Right. And is there anything that stands out other than, you say good service, attitude, follow-up, communication, all this sort of stuff? Is there anything unique and different that you can share with us? There's got to be some reason you're the number one fastest growing company. What are you doing that is so different to all the others?
Well, I think first, the people we've found are unique. The way we vet, the way we compensate is very different than the typical moving company. And so the people who are our bellhops are our bread and butter, and they are our secret sauce. And then all of the things that happen behind the scenes to make sure that we consistently produce great quality, that's run by technology. And it turns out that if you have technology running your company versus a lot of people, what ends up happening is you have a more efficient business, and you can pass on the savings to customers, and you'll also have a higher quality business that's much more consistent.
Mm-hmm. Well, that makes sense. We know that moving can be a fairly stressful experience. What are your top tips, Luke, to make it go more smoothly?
Well, first, make sure that you pick the right day. If if you move on a weekday or avoid the end of the month, you can actually save 20 to 30% off your move. On top of that, if you need to make a checklist, there's a lot of things to keep organized in a move, and a checklist is an important thing to have to keep everything together. And then finally, as we said before, picking the right mover is the key. You can do a lot of the research yourself, or you can pick the right mover who can do a lot of the research for you. And at Bellhops, we provide all of our customers with the communication, the information they need, and we do a lot of the thinking for them.
So what kind of a checklist should you make, do you think, before a move?
So my best advice is to go check us out on the website. If you go to getbellhops.com, we have a complete moving checklist there. It has everything you'll need, 30 days, 1 week, 1 day out to have a successful move.
Well, folks, you'll enjoy the website. It's quite colorful. You'll see all the staff with big smiles and green jerseys on. Any reason for that? Is that the corporate color, huh?
That's right. That's our Bellhops brand.
One thing that interests me, talking to you from Arizona here in Tucson, we get a lot of people come to this part of the world from the Midwest and the East, mainly through jobs. We're growing profusely. We're getting some big corporates come in, and there's people moving. And I'm wondering, do you deal with companies? Would you go to companies that specialize in going to those corporations who, handle all the move for them and say that they get everything organized for those key executives and so on? And do you have to present yourself to those companies that you should get the move?
Yeah, we have a lot of partners in this space, and we have partnered with companies that work with other corporations. We've partnered with companies in the real estate space. So, our reputation is preceding us, and we've been able to do a lot of different types of moves, both for companies and individuals.
So what other resources are available to ensure it all goes according to plan for the folks utilizing you?
So again, my best advice is to go to our website at getbellhops.com, and everything will go to plan. It'll have all the information you need to make sure your move goes to plan.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
That's good. That's great. Thank you, mate. So listeners,
right,
and what is that? Just give us the site again, please, Luke, before you go.
It's getbellhops.com.
Getbellhops.com. Thank you, mate. Interesting. Luke Marklin, ladies and gentlemen, the Chief Executive Officer of Bellhops. That's America's fastest growing moving company dedicated to revolutionizing the traditional low-quality moving industry. It's nice for a change to hear something positive on that. We'll be back.